Welcome back to Mission Bound Podcast. My name is Tom, and this is
Michael.
And he's an NBA 2004 world champion. We are so glad that you are with us today. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. We're going to be talking about some life, some sports, and a little bit of leadership. Mike, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing well. And yourself?
I'm doing very well.
Man, it's good to see you again, man. I get excited to get to hang out with you.
It's fun, man. Hanging out with you is good times.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're here watching the show, just want you to know you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or you can go to YouTube and watch past episodes. But today we're going to have a little bit of fun. But before we do that, I got to mention today's episode is sponsored by One Sports Nation. Fun, competitive youth sports all around the country. Go to onesportsnation.com and find out how you can open one up in the city near you. onesportsnation.com. Mike, we got a great episode today. We're going to have a whole lot of fun because it's one of your friends and an amazing NBA athlete named
Tricky Ricky.
Tricky Ricky.
Ricky Davis. You know, I'm excited to have him on, a close friend, but a philanthropist, you know, at his finest. You know, we always talk about wanting to do things in our communities, and he's really spreading himself thin to help others that really can't help themselves. I mean, he has the Racial Injustice Coalition of America, the Ricky Davis Legacy Foundation. So he's constantly feeding the homeless. He's constantly doing things in the community. And I'm excited, not even just to talk about those things, but excited to even talk about, you know, reminiscing over his career, because he also had a great basketball career as well.
Yeah, you guys actually, you never played on the same team, did you?
We played in Minnesota together and Boston.
Oh,
yes.
so two teams.
Yeah,
okay.
We did play on two teams, but it was funny because it always seemed like when he came to Miami, he came there a year before I came.
Okay.
And then he got traded when I got there. And then, you know, I was playing on another team, and he comes when I leave. And so it was always weird how we wind up playing in different cities at different times. But in the beginning, Boston and Minnesota. So when we finally got to play together, it was like, hey, like we finally get to do it at the same time. Yeah, so it was cool.
So real quick, they called him Tricky Ricky. Where'd that nickname come from? Do you know?
He just tricky. You know, that's just Tricky Ricky, man. Just tricky.
All right, I'm not going to touch that any further. We'll keep going.
He's a great philanthropist.
We're going to have him on here in a few minutes. We'll jump into our story with him. You got a good Ricky Davis story. You guys obviously played together for a couple teams. Anything that you remember, like just, yeah, that's Ricky?
I mean, Tricky used to drink about 3 Red Bulls before a basketball game.
Really?
And just, he'll always do the Ric Flair scream. It was always,
how's that go?
Woo! Like he'll catch it. You know the funniest. Okay, here go a great Ricky Davis story.
Here we go.
And it's almost like a laugh at myself, but I'm okay with laughing at myself. You know, I do a lot of that. And
okay, I'm not gonna say.
And so we was playing. I'm playing with the Houston Rockets now, and I just got I was with the Boston Celtics the year before.
Okay.
And so we're playing against Houston, and I get the ball stolen from me. So I'm like, dang. So they throw the ball up the court. So I'm trying to hurry up and run. And I'm like, okay, Mike, take a charge. And so they flip the ball back to Ricky. And as I'm standing there taking the charge, I'm like, Mike, this don't look like it's going to be a good idea. And so he jumps. And when he jumps, he's so high in the air that like his like knees is like his shin is like hitting me like in my face. And he dunks it. And I fall to the ground, and all I'm saying to myself is, please call the charge. Please call the charge. And the ref said, block it, air one. I said, ooh, this is going to be on top 10 tomorrow. So he's going crazy right now, you know, because he's hyped because he just dunked the ball.
Sure.
And so he looks and turns and see who he just dunked on.
He didn't know who it was.
He didn't know it was me.
Just in the moment.
So he looks and see, and he was just like, whoa, whoa. Mike, what are you doing?
Because you guys were buddies, and it's like he just hurt his friend,
no,
right?
Seriously. Yeah. He was like, Mike, was that you? He said, what was you thinking? I walked away and said, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Dang, man, my bad. So I had to apologize to him for him dunking on me.
For him getting an and one on you.
Yeah.
And a highlight.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, we're going to have that Ricky Davis on the show in a couple minutes. We're so glad you're hanging out with us today. And just real quick, if you haven't gone back and watched some of the past episodes, we want to just tell you, man, we've had some fantastic guests on the air. Larry Brown, Tracy McGrady, the trainer for LeBron James, Chris Johnson.
Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey Billups. We've had some
Rod Strickland.
Oh, Rod Strickland. That was a good one. All right, so with that in mind, we're going right now. Let's welcome Ricky Davis to the show today.
Yeah, what's going on, Mike, again?
Hold on, let's give him official welcome. Welcome to the show, Mr. Ricky Davis. Ricky.
Hey, thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me twice again.
That's right.
It's just amazing, like I said, being with you guys. You know, like Mike said, we built that relationship, that nothing can break it. So, just where we are in life right now, it's just always good to speak with him.
You know, Rick, you had a 12-year NBA career, averaged over 13.5 points for your career. I want to talk about, the problems that we're facing right now that your hand is completely in, with the Racial Injustice Coalition of America. And also, I want to talk about your foundation and all the great things that you're doing in these communities, which, cannot be, you cannot forget about that. But I cannot not have you on here and not talk about your career, man. You had an amazing career, and it needs to be highlighted. And people need to know, man, you was one of the better players at your position, and what you was able to accomplish at your career, man, was amazing. And I want to salute you first.
Man, I appreciate it. And coming up, in the times we came up, it was tough, to even get a job and be in the league 12 years. So, and let alone get drafted at 17. So, it's tough. These kids these days don't know how tough it is. And, to be able to get to the NBA and stay in at the same time.
So Ricky, what was your, and I know this is just a typical question you get asked a lot, but what was your highlight of your career? What's the one thing you're most proud of? Boom.
Just getting drafted. Okay. That was my main goal, my main dream. And being drafted at 17 years old, that was my main goal.
Boy, you could barely drive, and you got drafted?
I could barely drive, couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't make any decisions. I had to move my mom and dad down. So that was a highlight, of my career, just getting drafted. And everything else just kind of took care of itself. Learning that work ethic at a young age, it just instilled me and it prolonged my career.
We talk about on the court, but we never explain the longevity, how a professional athlete remains over the years. And you can elaborate on that because you was young in the NBA. You didn't spend a lot of time in college, so you didn't have that seasoning. You came in young, ready, and a ready young bull. And so just those experiences, how were you able to manage and mature from the beginning to now, the end of your career? What was that like?
Well, it was fun. It was tough at the same time. Making decisions that you would make in college, at 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, I was making on the fly in the NBA. So I had life experience opposed to someone teaching me these experiences. So, it hurt me a little bit because I was in my career experiencing those things opposed to people experiencing those things before they hit their career and now they have a good record. So, I endured that thing, at an early age and just was able to, just stick with it. Just finding people, finding the right niches, the right workouts, the right work ethic, on how to stick in the league.
Can you elaborate just a little bit? What was something that you lived through that you wished you knew before you got in the NBA, but you had to learn, maybe through the hard knocks?
Mine would be financing. Learning the financing on corporations, businesses, life insurance plans, policies, 529s, just different kind of things that will bring you successful after you retire, so you don't have to go through those transitioning stages that some of us NBA players have to go through.
Did you have some good people around you to help, walk you through some of that stuff?
Yeah, you definitely have good people around you. But like I said, 17, 18 years old, it's hard for me, to stop and not buy this and go out and hang out and bring my friends. And, I'm just so immature mentally that those things weren't in my upbringing. Those things weren't something my parents instilled in me, that they didn't get instilled in them. So that's something that my foundation's doing now, is instilling those things at early ages for young athletes.
You know what, Rick, man? You talk about your foundation, man. Elaborate on a little bit on the Ricky Davis Legacy Foundation, and what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. My family runs it. We're hands-on with it. I started it my first year in the NBA. It means a lot. And that's what I do now for a living, is run my foundation. So being able to instill values in communities, bridging the gap for underserved communities to have resources and ability to, just keep up with the world, is definitely close to heart for what we do.
And also, I want to just shout out also, you doing a Feed Your City Challenge.
Come on.
In Chicago. Event location coming soon, October 17th. No ID, Common's going to be there. I might get the name wrong because I don't know nobody in R&B new. Janae Akko. Did I get it right? Did I do it right? Okay.
Who is that? Who is Janae?
Yeah,
Tell us about
Janae and Nico.
Yeah, see, in social justice.
Janae and Nico. That song with Dave Herbo.
Yeah, that one.
So it's gonna be great.
Nick Cannon.
The Feed Your City Challenge started. Yeah, Nick Cannon.
Common.
And what is that challenge? What is that Feed the City Challenge? What is that right there, Rick? Elaborate, man.
So the Feed Your City Challenge basically started, through the Big Three season. We had our Dribble Out Hunger campaign, where every city we went to, we fed people, did the homeless tours. So when COVID-19 happened, we were kind of stuck, everything was closing. We didn't know what to do. So for a while, we were just kind of thinking of something we can do to make sense. We're watching all these challenges on TikTok and people doing all these things, but nothing's helping anyone. So as a foundation, we created Feed Your City Challenge, where we wanted to go into underserved communities, use my influencers and the people I know and the influencers to get the word out. Use their platform to be able to feed people. We were giving them 10-day quarantine packs with PPE equipment, hygiene packs, food, essential items and things like that, milk, anything you can think of, stuff to boost their immune system. So we started our first one, we started with Pusha T. I teamed up with Tony Draper with Suave House Music here in Houston. And basically, we just kind of took it to another level. We created the challenge where we, as a foundation, come out. They host us, and we come out and we bring 5,000. We bring in food for 5,000 families. We do a drive-through COVID-19 food, distribution, where 5,000 families come through, and it's just a bundle of fun, bundle of joy. We had Pusha T, Trey Songz, Raphael Sadiq, DJ Mustard, Roddy Ricch, Rick Ross, 2 Chainz. We got Jeezy. We got Jamie Foxx booked. We got a bunch of people, and it's just becoming, the culture to try to get these influencers to be a big plus in their communities.
Ricky, 5,000 families you fed, and you're uniting these artists together. That's huge, man. That's huge. Hey, can we go on record?
Yes.
When you continue to bring this to Houston, can Mission Bound be a part of it with you?
Oh yes, definitely.
We can do this for hours with you because you have so many interesting things going on in your life, and the beauty is, it's beautiful when you see people that's not only doing things for those that can do something back for them in return, but doing things for others that can't do absolutely nothing for you, and you ain't even looking for nothing in return, but not even a thank you even matters, but yet your heart is the desire is to put a smile on other people's faces. You know God commends you, and you know God blesses you for that, because he says when you bless minds, the blessing always comes down, especially when your heart is compassion for others. And we could stay here for hours, but man, the way things are going on in the country right now, you know, last week we had some pastors on from Kenosha, Wisconsin, that's on the front line out there, that's, you know, fighting for the community, fighting for the people, and was able to experience what's going on firsthand, and just talking about the racial injustice and how there's such a separation, and stop just acknowledging the elephant in the room, but now trying to start doing something to do something about the elephant in the room and trying to fix the problem.
Mike's doing that.
And
Ricky's doing that, yeah.
You have the Racial Injustice Coalition of America, man. And talk to us a little bit about this, and what does this mean?
What's it all about?
Yeah. So like I said, we were sitting around thinking of what to do and how to put some stuff together. So with the Racial Injustice Coalition of America, we want to use our influencers again, you know, the big name people, to be able to attack certain areas, you know, that need to be addressed. The social injustice, we want to attack prison reform. Wow. We want to bring resources to the communities, like STEM labs, where they have computers, where they can learn trades, you know, to be able to boost the community. You know, we want to help them on voting. Not only just telling them to go vote, but who to vote for, and you know, how to change the electoral people is what we need to be voting for. Not just voting for a person, but be voting for the people who really make the votes. So just the proper education on that, proper investments, education classes, nutrition classes. We want to bring farmers markets we want to bring farmers markets to food desert, underserved communities, you know, and work on community reinvestments. You know, that's kind of how we can change the narrative.
Ricky, I want to get back to that in just a minute, but you said something. You said you wanted to improve people's nutrition. Now, I was looking up some pictures of you back when you played, and you were a little like bigger than you are now. Why in the world are you look like you might even be in better shape now than you were. What's up?
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, you know, I'm total vegan. You know, no meat, no animal products, no meat, no dairy. And it changed my life. It changed my whole lifestyle. It changed the way I think. You know, because our second brain is from our gut. So if we're putting in things that's not healthy for our gut to produce that second thought, that second mind, you know, I'm all into it. But you know, just it like I said, it's for myself. I changed because you know, my father had diabetes, my mother, my grandmother. So the things that they were eating, everyone talks about, you know, doctors and prescription pills, but no one gives a prescription for food. And that's one of the big things I think that can change people's health and you know, mindsets.
That's huge.
You know, Rick, man, it's amazing. But
I did do a little more working out. I did do a little more working out when I was playing. But you know, we had to get those 13, 14 workouts for that month, you know?
Man, nobody understands what a body goes through from a professional athlete standpoint, just to be able to withstand that wear and tear every day. But you, man, you an amazing person, man. You are smart, you know, you tough, resilient. To be able to overcome all the obstacles of your career, even, you know, I know you personally, but there was so many that had such bad you know, they built such a bad reputation trying to put you in the box of a certain type of athlete. But what they didn't understand is the integrity and the character of the person of who you was. And wherever you went, you was always the same person. No matter what team you was on, you was always Tricky Ricky. But it was never nothing tricky. It was just the 100 about who you was. And man, just being able to have you on here right now, just spilling out about all the different things that you're doing, man. I commend you just to be able to know you, man, because you definitely doing your thug thizzle. Hey, okay, let's get back. Your thoughts on the NBA. You know, let's talk a little bit NBA with you, man. Your thoughts on the NBA. Even was LeBron a rookie when you was in the NBA? Well, I mean, when you were
that was my rook right there.
Exactly. And I know that. So being able to play with him when he was coming in as the chosen one and the future king, and hearing all the hype of who he is he's living up to the name that, you know, that the expectation from the beginning to now what he's come into now?
Oh, definitely. He's lived up into that, you know, that challenge. And it's been a challenge for him his whole career. It wasn't like he didn't have a lot of pressure on him. So, you know, that's where I commend him for accepting the challenge, you know, and then accepting it at an early age, getting drafted out of high school. I understand the mentality that he had to go through, and with extra pressure. You know, so he definitely lived up to his hype. You know, with his rookie year, you know, you could see the specialness in him. Certain plays, you could just see that certain guys wouldn't see it at that age, and you know, the way his body was built, it was just perfect for him.
Did you think he would be as good as he actually is when you played with him when he was?
Well, I knew he would be great. You know, it would just when would he be great is the question.
Okay.
You know, because some guys come in at a young age, and it takes them 4 or 5 years. It takes them 3, 4, 5 years actually to be great. You know, but he picked it up right away. You know, his first year, he got better and better every year. So, and then after a while, he just put the gas pedal on. So, I commend him for that, you know, to just be able to take that, not have injuries, and sustain that career.
You know, Ricky, the NBA seems like it's changing rapidly. It seems like every year it's going into an evolution. Where do you think the NBA is going? And do you think it's actually getting better? Or do you think it's leaving something behind?
You know, NBA has its airs. I think it's just going through an air of small ball, you know, threes and layups, you know, but it'll change. You know, guys it'll change back just like it changed in the old days and change back again. I think it'll change back as guys start figuring out everyone can't play like that. You know, now these days, every team's trying to play the same way. And it's easy to guard people. The systems are easy. So you got the same kind of basketball. But back in the day, you know, you had big teams, you had small teams, you had big guards, you had small guards. It was such a different variety of teams and systems. So I think it'll go back as, you know, you start getting those good coaches in there that know basketball and not analytics. So I love analytics. Analytics definitely is a plus to the basketball game. But I think you still need old school knowledge, old school X's and O's to help improve those analytics.
But you know, Rick, that's where the problem occurs. You right. The game can change if you start bringing in, you know, just like a player gets old from generation to generation. What does that player normally do? He goes into coaching, and that next generation, that coach, he understands that next generation of player that's coming up because they was the one. So, but if the coaches are still staying longer than they supposed to, so now you have 3 and 4 generations behind coaches now, and you have these generations of kids coming up, but now you have book smart coaches and front office people working, and they don't understand that you're messing the cycle up of the game if you're not transitioning the coach as long as the same way that you're transitioning the players. And I think that's where the problem is the ones that are making the decisions isn't understanding how the cycle of the game is supposed to be played out in the business side of it.
So is that management's problem?
Of course it is.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. And that's something that I'm going through myself and yourself. You've been through the coaching program 3-4 years. It's something that I've been talking about. That's a cycle of, once we do our career, it's like they throw us away and, not transition us into being coaches. You look at the benches, there's one ex-player on maybe 2 ex-players on every bench. It's supposed to be the opposite, supposed to be all ex-players and maybe 1 or 2 analytics, so those guys can train around the basketball guys. But, so jumping through the loops and going through these coaching programs, I think it just needs to be addressed. It needs to be changed.
So Ricky, let me ask you a question. If you could have any job in the NBA right now, other than playing, what job would you want, and do you think you're probably better qualified to have?
Well, first I'd like to be the owner.
Okay, fair enough. There is.
After that, I'll definitely like to be the GM.
Okay.
Because having us in basketball operations, I think, is well needed too. It's a lot of athletes that's not in basketball operations, and basketball operations is basically what makes the team. So,
of course,
you got a lot of guys that think they can scout, but I don't know. It's just, I think if anything, I would be the president or the GM.
Just asking, which NBA team would you like to take over right now?
I'll go to Miami.
Welcome to Miami. I'm coming.
Everyone's on the same page.
Everyone's on the same page. I will tell you this about Miami. The best thing that could have happened to me was my career starting in Miami, because Pat Riley taught me what it was to be a professional athlete. When I went to other teams, it was like Key Largo. I used to be like, are y'all serious? Like, y'all not training for 18 hours?
This?
Like, y'all not killing yourselves?
Is this practice?
Seriously. I mean, Pat Riley, but he prepared me. Going to him made everywhere else light. I didn't have to work as hard for the rest of my career with a mindset of going into it thinking that everyone is like Miami Heat.
Right. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I mean, and that's what instilled the work ethic. And, like I said, everyone's on the same page. You know what you're doing. You learn all the defensive rotations, all the offensive rotations. I mean, it's just
a system.
Everybody's going in the same thing on the same page.
100%. 100%. Rick, man, I don't want to take up no more of your time, man. We appreciate really you coming and hanging out with us again on Mission Bound, man. Anytime you welcome to come on, and you could just take over the show and we ain't asking no questions. You just take the mic and
all
freestyle.
yours, baby. Just go.
You more than welcome, man.
It.
Is there any like websites or sites that you want to give out, to the people that's watching so they can get them in contact with you?
Definitely. They can go to the Ricky Davis Legacy Foundation.org. You can go to the FeedYourCityChallenge.org. And check us out. Do a little research on us. Help donate, to feed these people. The work's going to get done. But just, taking the pressure off us a little bit definitely helps. And, Mike and Tom, I appreciate your time and help spread the word. And I love what you guys are doing.
Hey, I just want to remind you also, man, that Racial Injustice Coalition of America, man, that's a major role right there, and that's big time. And I'm not going to make that seem like it's something small in my mind, because it's people like you that we need to help stand up for, the ones that don't have no one standing up for them. And for you guys to be able to stand in the gap there, man, I definitely salute you there.
Man,
and I'm 100% with you.
We started with the salute. We'll end with the salute. Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Tricky. Love, boy. Love, Tricky.
Baby. Appreciate you. All right.
You want to check us out? Mission Bound social channels. Website, missionboundpodcast.com. Facebook at Mission Bound Podcast. Instagram at Mission Bound Podcast. Twitter at Mission Bound Pod. That's P-O-D. YouTube, search for Mission Bound Podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
That was brilliant. We're gonna win an award. That was awesome stuff.
Hey, also, Journey Life Fitness. If you're looking for bands, if you're looking for a lifestyle workout, and you're looking for something new in a workout lifestyle, go to Journey Life Fitness and check it out, and you're gonna see some great things.